For weeks, Caitlin Clark was singled out on the court, but the WNBA remained silent. The supporters were incensed. Analysts refrained from talking about the issue. Then the silence ended. The NBA's biggest stars, not the WNBA's. These weren't polite shout-outs or statements from the press team. This was an honest, unrestrained voice. Steph Curry, Luka Doncic, LeBron James, and others weren't only praising her performance. They were shielding her from what they had personally seen. Particularly Steph had had enough. He saw the hits, heard the silence, and when he did speak, his remarks reverberated across the basketball world. When a famous person like Curry publicly complains to Caitlin being used as a punching bag, everyone takes notice. He was by no means by himself. What were at least 6 NBA, in fact, the All-Stars stated on camera that Caitlin Clark isn't a flash in the pan. It is terrible that she is being unfairly singled out as a high-level player. You might be surprised by some of the unedited, word-for-word reactions that some of the biggest players in the NBA have expressed here. NBA players usually exclusively express affection to each other. When Pascal Siakam, the All-Star champion and one of the smoothest two-way players in the game, was asked about Caitlin Clark, most people expected a typical comment. Maybe something safe and superficial. But Pascal didn't exercise caution. He was asked which player gets the most love. He abruptly and unexpectedly brought up Caitlin Clark, not just in passing or with a polite nod, but as someone who, in his opinion, was on par with NBA players.
She's amazing. Super amazing. She's a great player. Having her be courtside and watching our games is awesome. We see the excitement that she has on the side, but just like she's doing that, we do the same. Like when they're playing, like it's so much. It's a joy to
think about that. He wasn't comparing her to WNBA players. He was comparing her to Tyrese Halliburton, one of the NBA's most fascinating point guards. Pascal insisted that Caitlin was getting the most love. That goes beyond just admiration. That is an acknowledgement. For those who continue to maintain that the WNBA exists in a vacuum, that serves as a reality check. When names are mentioned in discussions intended for the NBA elite, you may tell that someone's influence is significant. Siakam could have selected anyone, but he went with Caitlin Clark. It's not a headline. That's a shift. Pascal and the other men are encouraging, and it shows that Caitlin has broken through the invisible barrier dividing leagues. Obi Toppin's statements aren't always unambiguous, as evidenced by the fact that he stated that even though he didn't have to, even though he isn't known for long monologues or dramatic sound bites, his comment on Caitlin Clark stands out. In today's media environment, the fact that it was honest but lacked polish has a greater impact than any pre-written PR term. Obi plays with energy, flair, and confidence. However, his tone changes when he talks about Caitlin Clark. It goes beyond just respect. It's gratitude. When someone goes above and beyond the box score, you show them this type.
No, Caitlin is she's a beast, man. Like, they love her. So I'll probably say Caitlin Clark. I love Tyrese, but she's another level in terms of just love.
It's the parody, not the phrase, that stands out. Caitlin from the WNBA and OBC as equals, not as an afterthought or as subpar. Like NBA players, they celebrate their wins. This reciprocal energy is rare and significant. It's nice to see Caitlin Clark courtside and to know that the NBA players actually care. Saying anything like, "Oh, hey, a celebrity showed up," is not enough. It's a sincere appreciation and basketball bond. What Obi said doesn't have to go viral. It indicates something more important even though it doesn't make the news. As a women's basketball player, Caitlin's standing has evolved. She's a hooper. Ignore it. When NBA players start talking about you like you're one of them, you've already entered their world. Giving someone on your squad a cliché is a simple way to cheer them up. She's amazing. Her level of skill is impressive. That kind of thing. But Tyrese Halliburton made a different decision. He did more than just promote Caitlin Clark because they both reside in the same city. It was the right PR move. Thus, he did not commend her. His proximity to her, his acquaintance with her, and his observation of the daily tempest she has been facing without flinching served as the inspiration for his thoughts.
because everybody is looking for you to say anything, and they're gonna slice it and cut it and make it a negative thing. Like, and I think for her, the one thing that I love that she's bringing to her sport, more people want to watch. More people want to tune in. I saw for the first time that it's harder playing. For the first time in their league history. You know, they flew private. That should be celebrated in its own right.
The 5 most famous periods. LeBron, Steph, Joik, and NBA All-Star Tyrese are discussing Caitlin Clark. Not out of hype, but out of reality. He watches the numbers, the noise of the press, and the passion of the supporters. He knows what it's like to be a franchise representative. Furthermore, he knows that Caitlin is dealing with something even more intense as a sophomore. Furthermore, the empathy in his remarks is disregarded. He is defending her not just as a player, but also as a person. Tyrese is bringing attention to the mistreatment, coercion, and absurdity she did not request. Caitlin Clark is well prepared. When LeBron James talks instead of just listening, the sports world recalibrates. Every phrase is scrutinized. Every delay is investigated. When the person who has played basketball for the last 20 years decides to comment, that is what happens. As a result, his criticism of Caitlin Clark wasn't only playful. It was an enthusiastic endorsement with a deeper message that captured the essence of this athletic event, cutting through the noise and backlash.
I think for me, getting to actually spend time around her, be around her, get to know her personally, she's just an amazing person, an amazing player. She deals with a lot, there's a lot of rhetoric behind her that she really has no control over, and I think that the way she handles that is just amazing. Like, I think when it comes to the game of basketball, like, she's probably top 5 most famous people that are playing right now, just in general. That includes our league as well.
LeBron is advocating for both Caitlin Clark and development in general. He has seen what she has endured. It's a shift in culture more than just media pressure. He knows what it's like to be the driving force behind a league's choice to go private. That transcends the past. It's a legacy move. He's been there. The target on your back, the expectations, and everything. This could be the reason he sees some of himself in Caitlin. She not only won LeBron's admiration, but also his respect, which is a very different kind of praise. It takes a certain amount of confidence to suggest a 3-point game against one of the most anticipated shooters in the world. You feel even more confident when you ask for it. Trae Young enters. Trae is renowned for his bold attitude and profound eruptions, and he has never been shy. But when he talks about Caitlin Clark, his tone shifts a little. Still confident, still playful, but with a distinct note of gratitude. This goes beyond one elite shooter complimenting another. Peer recognition of brilliance occurs in real time.
We're hype about Steph and Sabrina. I know that you have spoken about Caitlin Clark. You're a big Caitlin Clark fan.
Oh, yeah.
She, of course, is an excellent shooter. Would you ever do like a Caitlin Trae 3-point contest at All-Star?
Of course I would. I've gotten to talk to her too throughout her college years. We're the only 2 people that ever led college in points and assists. That's a crazy stat. I'd have to definitely practice a lot more than I have for these previous 3-point competitions. Nah, I'd be ready for sure.
First off, there have only been 2 players in NCAA history to lead the nation in both assists and points in a single season. The actuality is not enjoyable. In basketball, that is aristocracy. Furthermore, Trae's comments about her are not condescending. It is genuine. It's a sincere tribute to a gifted artist from a different period. He's not behaving like he would win that gunfight. He admits that he would need to perform more reps. The greatest kind of difference is that Caitlin takes part in more than just the conversation. She is the subject of conversation. Young is ready to compete head-to-head or share the spotlight. Paul George is not a frivolous artist. He doesn't speak in order to be influential. It's to make things easier for you to see. He also shared one of the most perceptive thoughts about Caitlin Clark that we have heard from any NBA player. He didn't immediately begin to command. He did not beat it. Because Paul George talked about something very different from the highlight video, viral fouls, or all-time shooting statistics that have dominated most conversations about Caitlin, he gave context by zooming out.
You gotta put it in perspective. right? These girls have been grinding to grow the game of basketball in the WNBA. They've been grinding to grow the sport to the world, the viewerships. They've been grinding for all of this. And then you have this girl that comes along from college and is an instant change. She's handed pretty much being the face of the league. There's going to be girls that are offended.
It's hardly an insult to Caitlin. That acts as a sobering reminder of the cultural shift. Paul George doesn't even contest her excellence. In fact, by calling her an instant change, he's confirming that. But he's also identifying something we don't talk about enough: the psychological harm it inflicts on the women who founded the nonprofit. The veterans who played in empty gyms, advocated for charter planes, and avoided being photographed. They put forth just as much effort, but they did not reap the same rewards as Caitlin. It stings when someone enters and becomes the league's face right away, even if she earned it. Paul George humanized the hostility, but he did not excuse it. And in doing so, he showed us how profound this moment was. Caitlin is more than the main attraction. She is the center of a shift that has an impact on everyone. Luka Doncic shares his ideas and aspirations. If you've watched him play or talk, you can tell he's straightforward. Specifically, no further polish and no filter. His answer to a simple question about women's basketball therefore held greater weight. There was no hesitation, no fake diplomacy. In a few lines, Lucas added his signature to the discussion by stating his intentions.
Favorite women's basketball player?
Caitlin Clark.
Really?
Yeah.
You know, like Paige Buchers?
Yeah. She's okay. I didn't see her playing the women's game.
That pivot is not a shadow. It's a standard setting. It was clear that Luka did not minimize Paige's abilities. Caitlin Clark is currently doing it on a professional level. That's what matters. She is more than just college buzz or a highlight reel from March Madness. Despite being hit and dropping dimes in the trenches, she still comes up every night. That response has some respect, but it is not very strong. Luka understands what it takes to succeed as a professional. He described it as basketball talk. Real knows what real is. When a generational NBA player like Luka nods at Caitlin, it's more of a confirmation than a compliment. She did well on the test. She is present. Luka already sees her as that player. From a distance, he had watched the hits continue. He saw the league's continued silence. Steph Curry, one of basketball's most well-known voices, decided it was time to speak. His comments weren't just in favor of Caitlin Clark. They sent a message to everyone in attendance.
I'm sick of watching Caitlin getting attacked. If the league doesn't step up and protect her, things are going to get ugly real fast.
It was more than help. That was a warning shot. You know, when Steph yells like that, everyone in the league and spectators need to pay attention. But Steph wasn't done yet. After condemning Caitlin's treatment, he took it a step further. He broke down her game with a degree of depth that only he could offer, emphasizing her range, timing, and gutsy manner that made him consider himself. As he said it, you could hear the reverence in his voice.
You saw somebody break down the release term, pretty much identical to mine. And it hurts his confidence, obviously. You can't help but watch when she plays, where she's shooting from, the range, the confidence. Like, these are performers. It's crazy, though, just because they're shouting like that, it's at that level. If you really watch, like, her floor game, that's impressive, so it's kind of the total pack.
Listen to that again. Steph Curry, the greatest shooter in NBA history, has said that Caitlin's shot is similar to his. That's not media gibberish. From the summit of the mountain, it is reverence. The fact that he survived the shooting, however, enhances the phrase even more. He called her a performer. He emphasized the floor game and the nuances that casual spectators miss, but true hoopers see. The court's vision, the passing, and the feel. Everything is already there. It's not just Steph who finds Caitlin Clark's game appealing. It impresses him. That isn't the same. That's especially rare because when the man who changed basketball forever says, "You've got the whole package," it's not a shout-out. The torch is being passed. Sometimes silence speaks louder than words. It was overwhelming to hear Jason Tatum's silence. The legendary Celtics player was asked one of the simplest questions ever. What is your favorite WNBA player? An excellent opportunity to support the movement. Give recognition to the lady who has become the league's face, and say what so many other celebrities have already said. But instead of even acknowledging Caitlin Clark, Tatum gave a straightforward, deadpan reaction. Which W player is your favorite? Ija Wilson, huh? That's all. There was no explanation, no background information, and no love for what Caitlin had done. Just a dismissal. To be clear, Wilson has won numerous tournaments and is a well-respected, dominant player. But this has nothing to do with treating Oza disrespectfully. It was about ignoring Caitlin Clark, the one athlete who has changed the financial landscape, supported the league, and turned attending WNBA games into an appointment. Tatum, one of the biggest stars in the NBA, also chose to act as if she didn't exist. Nothing at all, not even a respectful shout-out. Caitlin isn't asking for phony affection. As a result, it's embarrassing as well as disappointing. She deserves it. She's taken more hits than any athlete should. She continues to perform, show up, and manage the situation with elegance despite being left off Team USA and having her name mentioned in the media. After all of that, Jason Tatum couldn't even say her name. How could he? This was not a missed opportunity. It was a proclamation. Whether intentionally or not, that moment sent a message. What you're doing doesn't bother me. And Caitlin Clark has experienced this exact kind of subtle disdain all season long. Even the stars themselves are inspired by her. The biggest microphone in basketball belongs to Kevin Durant. In every tweet, comment, and podcast appearance, he is conscious of the consequences of his words. When Katie was asked to choose his favorite female athlete, Caitlin Clark, everyone in the sports world was waiting impatiently for his response. Instead, he dropped another one. Hey, respond with a single word without hesitation or nuance. All of a sudden, Katie's decision was clear. Nor was it Caitlin. It wasn't a coincidence. Let's be honest. This was a choice. Caitlin Clark has been the year's biggest sports story. She is breaking viewership records, selling out arenas, and bringing attention to a league that has been ignored for many years. She has maintained her composure in the face of being fouled, mocked, reprimanded, and barred from the Olympic squad. She is doing something that no one has ever done. And Kevin Durant didn't just ignore her. He went out of his way to highlight her primary rival in the media. That is a slap in the face, not help. A mediocre player is Angel Reese. That is undeniable. But when Caitlin has been carrying the WNBA's visibility night after night, how can you take into account all of her achievements and then deliberately choose the player who has received the most criticism? Angel Reese was not quite as good as Caitlin Clark. How could he? This was not an honest decision. It was a subliminal, I'm not with her moment, a power move from a man who knows how the media works. It doesn't go unnoticed when a player with Katie's level of power overlooks the greatest issue in basketball. So by doing this, Durant diminished Caitlin's influence rather than just dismissing it. It confirms the precise resistance Caitlin has encountered from the start. Furthermore, if you are not supporting her while she is carrying this much weight, you are adding to the problem. This is no longer just noise. When NBA players start talking openly, passionately, and on camera, it's an indication that something real is happening. Caitlin Clark did more than only initiate conversations. She's making the league uncomfortable in the nicest way possible. Caitlin Clark's current power is that she is not merely a performance. She is the player who compels decisions, responses, and clarity in a world where safe solutions and murky areas are common. He loves her more than his own coworker. Pascal Siakam agreed. In her performance, Steph Curry acknowledged himself. LeBron James praised her accomplishments thus far. Chartered flights, packed stadiums, and massive viewership surges. She is presently one of the top 5 basketball celebrities, according to Tyrese Halliburton. Nor is that hyperbole. That's the reality. Then there's Luka choosing her over Paige. Trae Young is prepared to fight. Like a fong chick, Oben smiled. Paul George ended contempt with simply 3 words. But Tatum keeps things brief. And Durant's choice was a powerful statement. The NBA is split on Caitlin Clark. Maybe that's the idea. Because brilliance does not inspire neutrality. It elicits sincere, honest responses. And Caitlyn's excellence is no longer in doubt. She is drawing crowds similar to those at NBA games and getting the kind of attention and criticism that only superstars get, something no one in this league has ever done. That's not noise. That's legacy. The fact that she's only getting started is the scariest thing. Please use the comment area to express your opinions. To ensure you don't miss anything, subscribe and turn on all notifications. Once you click the video on the screen, we'll see you in the next one.